We come from Group 1 and we are going to present about our group assignment of the subject MKW3013 Stochastic Modeling and Application. And these are our group members.
In this assignment, the company that have been chosen is Taiwan Family Mart Company. The Family Mart Company is a Japanese convenience store franchise chain. It is Japan's second largest convenience store chain, which is behind 7-Eleven. There are now 24,574 stores worldwide in Japan, Taiwan, China, Philippines, Thailand, and others. In 1988, Family Mart began opening stores in Taiwan. In Taiwan, 7-Eleven store is the most popular convenience store, while Family Mart is the second. Figure 1 shows the time series of the historical stock price for Taiwan Family Mart. The stock price data is obtained from Yahoo Finance. We can clearly see that the stock price is decreasing in general. It reached the lowest value on December 30, 2021, which owns the value 247.5. In this plot, the highest point is 271.5 on August 8, 2021. There is a drastic drop from June 16, 2021 to June 18, 2021, which is from 2066 decreased to 257.5, which is cost -8.5 in return. It is probably due to the transfer of the ownership of Tianhong We-All convenience store to Lawson in China, causing the stock price of Lawson increase drastically. Not only that, it is because there are 4466 franchise of Lawson compared to 2902 franchise of Family Mart in China. It brings high competition between both of them.
For the questions 1b, we need to analyze the questions. For the questions, we know that there are three different steps considered in this macro change with up, down, and reminiscence. These three steps are defined as below, that yn represents the closing share of the previous days, and yn divide 1 represents the closing share price of the previous day. For the up, when the yn divide 1 and -1 is bigger than 0, the trend is increase. For the reminiscence, when yn divide y and -1 equal to 0, the trend is remain unchanged. For the down, when yn divided by yn -1 is smaller than 0, so the trend is decrease. The Markov model is denoted by lambda equal sp pi 0, whereas is the set say s equal up down remains same. P and pi 0 are the transition probability matrix and the initial probability vector respectively, which are known as the parameter of the model. The data is obtained through Yahoo Finance and product 242 periods of day. It observed that the steady price is either in the step up, down, and remain same. The correlations of data for each step are obtained by using Microsoft Excel with the if functions. After the correlations of data, we found that there are 85 times up, 91 times down, and 36 times reminiscence. From here, we can obtain an initial step vector. There are the table that we do by using the Excel. The initial probability vector for the closing market share price of Taiwan Family Mart Co. Ltd. consists of three elements: pi 1, pi 2, and pi 3. By using the formula, we can calculate the initial probability vector in the case is pi 0, pi 1, pi 2, pi 3. From the table obtained, we can calculate that the initial probability vector of the Taiwan Family Mart Co. Ltd. as follows: pi 0 equal 0.35124, 0.32603, 0.27273, meaning that at the initial step, P probability of up equal to 0.35124. For the probability of down, 0.3200603, and for the probability of remain same, A equal to 0.27273.
The state space of the Markov chain model for this assignment is up, down, and remain same. With the help of Microsoft Excel, the transition states are categorized into 9 categories. By counting the number of one state to another state, we can get a transition frequency table as Table 2. Figure 2 shows the transition diagram which converted from the transition probability matrix. From this transition diagram, we can see that every state is allowed to undergo self-transition. Besides, each state can move from one to another. By using the formula of probability and the transition frequency table, the transition probability matrix is calculated. For transition probability matrix, the addition of each row of the matrix will equal to 1. By using the formula of probability and the transition frequency table, the transition probability matrix is calculated. For transition probability matrix, the addition of each row of the matrix will equal to 1. Figure 2 shows the transition diagram which converted from the transition probability matrix. From this transition diagram, we can see that every state is allowed to undergo self-transition. Besides, each state can move from one to another.
For question 2, the long-term behavior of the share, the expected number of reaches to a particular state, and the expected first reach time of different states are determined by using the transition probability matrix and initial probability vector obtained from question 1. The formula used to determine the long-term behavior of the share is pi k minus 1 multiplied with the transition probability matrix. For example, the probability step for the step 1 is equal to the product of probability of the initial state and the transition probability matrix. Therefore, the probability step for step 1 is 0.34832 for up state, 0.37743 for down state, and 0.27425 for remain same state. The table 4 shows the state probability for the future 12 days of the share price. We can observe that the state probability starts to be the same since pi 8. Then we can conclude that these micro-chain models achieve the steady state probability. The further information will discuss in the question 3. Next, to determine the expected number of receipts to a particular state in n steps, the formula used is the summation of probability state I to state j from step 1 to step n. For example, the expected number of receipts from up state to down state in 2 steps is the summation of probability from up to down state in 1 step and probability from up to down state in 2 steps. Then, the expected number of receipts from up state to down state in 2 steps is 0.83148. Table 5 lists the first 5 steps probability transition matrix, and Table 6 lists the expected number of receipts to a particular state for the first 5 steps of transition. From the result in Table 6, show that for 4 trading days, if the share price starts from up state, the expected number of receipts to up state, down state, and remain same state are 1.37, 1.59, and 1.04 respectively. This means that the average of the share price to be increased, decreased, and remain the same for 4 trading days are 1.37, 1.59, and 1.04 respectively. The same explanation can be applied to decrease the expected number of visits from down step and remain same state to other step. Next, the expected first reaching time of different states is obtained by using the formula Ti equal to 1 plus summation of Tj multiplied with the probability from state I to state j. For example, to obtain the expected first reaching time to up state, the previous formula is applied to the down state and remain same state. Given that the expected first reaching time for a self-transition state is 0, and T down in terms of T remains same, and T remains same in terms of T down. By substitute the T down to T remains same, the expected first reaching time to up state from down state and remain same state are 4.3 or 4 days and 7.45 or 7 days. The expected reaching time to down state from up and remain same state are 2 days, and the expected reaching time to remain same state from up and down state are 6 days and 5 days respectively. The expected reaching time to down state from up and remain same state are 2 days, and the expected reaching time to remain same state from up and down state are 6 days and 5 days respectively.
So for question 3a, we need to identify whether the Markov chain is irreducible and aperiodic or not. In the transition diagram, we can categorize the state into 3 communicating classes, which are class 1 up down, class 2 down remain same, and class 3 remain same up. This communicating state shows they are communicate with each other, and we can conclude that they are irreducible. Next, there are 3 conditions to identify a periodicity of Markov chains, which are self-transition. The sum of greatest common divisor from the different numbers of steps is equals to 1, and all values exist in positive integer. From figure 3, there are self-transitions in these 3 states, which fulfill first conditions of a periodicity. Figure 6 shows that the way of finding greatest common divisor. Firstly, we need to list all ways from the state up to up, which have 12 ways. Then, for each way, we need to find their common divisor. Then we compare them to find out the greatest common divisor, which is 1. This fulfills the second conditions of periodicity. Goes with table 7. We can conclude that from the state down to down, the greatest common divisor is 1. Goes with table 8. We can conclude that from the state remain same to remain same, the greatest common divisor is 1. On figure 4, we can find out that the value in P and P2 are all positive, and same goes for P3, P4, and so on. Hence, it fulfills the third conditions of a periodicity. In sum, we can conclude that this transition probability matrix is irreducible and aperiodic.
For question 3b, we need to find the stationary distribution and limiting distribution for this trend. For stationary distribution, as we know, the formula is pi equal to the set of probability. To find out the stationary distribution, first, we need to list out all the equations of pi up, pi remain same, and pi down. Then we do the substitution and elimination of equations. Hence, we can get the value of pi up, pi remain same, and pi down, which are 0.34 at 37, 0.37708, and 0.27455. For limiting distribution, in this case, since the chain is irreducible and aperiodic, we can conclude that the above stationary distribution is a limiting distribution. For pi up is 0.34 at 37. For pi remain same is 0.37708. For pi down is 0.27455. That's all for our presentation. Thank you.